Good evening from Painesville. Welcome to LNTV News Live, 30 minutes of news from Liberia and other parts of the world on this Friday, March 5, 2021 edition of the program. I'm your anchor, Jab Davidson. Stories coming up on this edition of the program. President George Weah renews government's support to Liberia's Maritime Training Institute in Margibi County. The Liberia Broadcasting System Director General Estelle Liberty Kemun says she is impressed by the state broadcaster winning the PUL Radio and Television Station of the Year awards. The Liberian government and partners switch on the first public lights in the Peace Island community in Congo Town and away from home. A local court in Senegal holds the country's opposition leader Ousmane Sonko in custody following early court appearance. These stories plus more are all coming up on this edition of the program. Keep watching. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. President George Weah has renewed government's support to the Liberia Maritime Training Institute in Margibi County. President Weah said the operation of the institute is essential to raising the standard of the country's maritime sector to international level. The Liberian leader spoke Friday at the reopening of the Maritime Training Institute following a year of closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. President Weah described the 24 students currently enrolled at the school as torchbearers and urging them to remain steadfast in their studies. The Liberian chief executive then acknowledged the cherished partnership between the governments of Liberia and the United States, noting such bilateral partnership has immensely contributed to transforming the maritime sector of the country. Meanwhile, President Weah has admonished the Liberian shipping company, that's LISCA, to ensure graduates from the Maritime Training Institute are assigned at reputable international vessels. At the same time, the Commissioner General of the Liberia Maritime Authority, Eugene Nangbe, has recounted Liberia's benefits from its partnership with the United States government. Commissioner Nangbe said as a result of the partnership, Liberia was recently delisted from the U.S. government's coastal blacklist. He said government has also signed a maritime cooperation agreement with the government and people of China to support Liberia's registry. However, Commissioner Nangbe has promised to appeal against the EU yellow card list at the upcoming European Union Liberia Partnership Dialogue. Well, for the first time in the history of the Peace Island community in Congo Town, the people are enjoying first public electricity in the area. The electricity project was undertaken by the government of Liberia in partnership with the European Union in Liberia. President Weah switched on the light on behalf of the government on Friday and made these remarks.
The night is far gone. The day is at hand. So then let us cast off the works of darkness and put on a hammer of light. I want to use the occasion to thank you for your continued support to our government and people of this great nation, Mama Liberia. By working together, we continue to forge ahead and deliver on the promise of the pro-poor agenda for Prosperity and Development, the PAPD, and positively change the lives of the Liberian people. General lighting is not a luxury, but instead a necessity. Lighting is important to a home because it improves the mood, creates a warm and bright ambience, as opposed to gloomy and unattractive spaces. It provides a sense of security and brings together families and community. To the people of Peace Island, in Genesis 1:3, God said, "Let there be light," and now there is light.
President George Weah speaking in the Peace Island community on Friday when he switched on the lighting project there in the area. At the same time, the head of the European Union delegation to Liberia, Ambassador Laurent de la Rose, has described power theft as an offense not only punishable by law, but an act that also endangers the lives of Liberians. Ambassador de la Rose further noted that electricity plays a pivotal role in the social and economic development of any nation. The EU head made the statement Friday at the lighting ceremony at the Peace Island in Congo Town.
This is what we do at the delegation of the European Union and in the embassies of Germany, Ireland, France and Sweden. Deliver to the people of Liberia. And this is what you were elected for. This is what your administration is working at. This is what the Pro-Poor Agenda for Prosperity and Development stands for. And we support you in this noble endeavor. We, the delegation of the European Union, the embassies of the European member states, representing together 450 million people who have mandated my colleagues and I to support the development of your country and to deliver to the people of Liberia. It is an honor and a privilege for me to take part in this ceremony for the first electricity connection in Peace Island. Today, the benefits of electricity are reaching a new part of society, together with the economic growth that power brings. I cannot emphasize enough its positive consequences for the promotion of social and human development, for women, for children, and for all Liberians.
Ambassador Laurent de la Rose is the head of the European Union delegation to Liberia. At the same time, an appeal has been made by the people of Peace Island community in Congo Town for government to pave the road in the community. Peace Island community chairman Sam Passaway made the appeal Friday during the switching on of the light. That's the first public electricity by the government of Liberia.
My immense thanks and appreciation to these projects to include the community electrification, the community all-purpose hall, and the water project that are completed by our donors and are waiting for delegations by you. Honorable President, our community rule, Your Excellency, Barrow Medicine. As we commonly call you, our rule can be very bad during the rainy season. Many times our students, public workers, can ride canoe to and fro to school and work in the morning and evening time. Respectively, sometimes during these journeys, we can sustain great losses when something sometimes cannot capsize and dump our belongings. Considering this plight, we are kindly asking you to recondition our role.
That's the chairman of the Peace Island community in Congo Town. Liberia Broadcasting System, that's LBS Director General Esther Liberty Kermo says she is impressed that the state-run broadcast entity can be awarded as Radio Station of the Year by the Press Union of Liberia. Speaking Friday during an appreciation program for PUL award winners of the system, Mrs. Camon said she was not surprised that LBS could carry the best radio and television station of the year. She lauded winners for LBS including Sokwe Besro Konen as Best Newscaster of the Year, Fafle Kamara Executive Mansion Reporter of the Year, and Samson David Environmental Reporter of the Year, respectively. The LBS boss said the award should be seen as a challenge for the state-run broadcast entity to do more in serving the Liberian people. She commended all staff of the Liberia Broadcasting System for their role played in winning the award. At the same time, veteran Liberian journalist and consultant at the Liberia Broadcasting System, Aaron Corey, admonished employees of the state broadcaster to push forward with the awards. Mr. Corey also urged the LBS management to focus on the well-being of its employees.
Those who are in the area of broadcasting, you represent the public face of our nation. Do not hesitate to ask questions and explore new grounds, because what you say on the radio, what you say on the national television represent what the Republic of Liberia is. And I want to assure you, Madam Director General and team, that you making the decision to bring us on board at the level of a consultant, we will not hesitate to open the doors to come and work with the young people so that it becomes a learning experience and a win-win situation. So I only come to say to you, as we lead into 2021, this is just the third month of the new year. Let us begin to do more to make sure that the Liberia Broadcasting System remains the radio station that becomes second to none in the Republic of Liberia. Congratulations again, once again. Do not lay back with this award. Continue to use the awards as a stepping stone to open the space and do more so that the national government and the people of Liberia can give you the kind of deserving support. And my last thing I say to the management, please create the space for growth of the staff in terms of training, in terms of improvement of incentives and salary and the welfare of your staff. Because at the end of the day, this will serve as a motivation, because this is the career that we have chosen as a life-grown career. They must be able to build families. They must be able to improve their career path as journalists and as broadcasters.
Veteran Liberian journalist and consultant at the Liberia Broadcasting System, Aaron Colley. If you just joined us, a reminder that you're watching LNTV News live here on LNTV on this 5th day of March 2021. I'm your anchor, Jab Davis, and stories we are following on the program. President George Weah renews government's support to Liberia's Maritime Training Institute in Marshall, Margibi County. Liberia Broadcasting System Director General Esther Liberty Kermun says he is impressed by the state broadcaster winning the Press Union of Liberia Radio and Television Station of the Year awards. The Liberian government and partners switched on the first public lights in the Peace Island community in Congo Town and elsewhere in Africa. A local court in Senegal holds the country's opposition leader Ousmane Sanko in custody following early court appearance today. Most stories are still ahead of this edition of the program. Keep watching. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. The acting chairperson of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, that's the LACC, Kanio Gbagbala, says the entity is effective and functional. Addressing the media Friday, Councillor Gbagbala dismissed the rumors as untrue and only intended to tarnish his reputation as a person.
We take cognizance of spurious, groundless, factless allegations that have been levied against our person for political reasons, and we are aware of why they were levied. However, we are professional people, and we operate within a professional entity, an entity whose mandate clearly states that confidentiality is key, that reputations are important, that even an accused has rights, and therefore before you seek to scandalize another person, you afford them due process, the opportunity to present their case, to be vindicated or to be culpable. We are aware of that. Without following those procedures, we have such allegations labeled liberally against us in the public sphere. We have chosen to be deliberate not to respond to them because we are professionals. As professionals, there are ways in which such issues are resolved. They are resolved by unbiased fact-finding or whatever quasi-judicial processes that establish what has transpired. And to that end, I'd like to applaud the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. I remember that, recall rather, that yesterday they did a press conference and they've called for an impartial investigation into those spurious and false allegations promoted mainly by politics and mainly by personal aggrandizement. So at any point in time, we stand ready at the behest of the President and other structures of government that have oversight for this honorable commission to appear to provide reasons to clear our name.
Meanwhile, the LACC acting chairperson availed himself to an investigation.
Those information you find in the media has been deliberately deployed by people who want to create the impression that the LACC is imploding, that the LACC is misfiring, that the LACC lacks capacity, and therefore there has to be some kind of intervention. I'd like to make it emphatically clear in this briefing that government is continuity. Honorable Ndubisi Wabudiki voluntarily resigned on the 26th of February in his communication to the President. He intimated that his presence here probably would have served as an impediment to the President's anti-corruption goal, and thus he left. As a function of continuity, the Commission remains, and the business of the Commission continues. So no issues regarding the functions of the Commission have been impeded. Employees are coming to work as per the time they've been taxed before. They are going about their normal function. As a matter of fact, today I just held a meeting with the head of the enforcement division of the LACC, and we're currently discussing how to continue the great work that the LACC has done. So in essence, what am I saying? I'm saying that contrary to what is out there in the press, where it is being sought to portray that the LACC is imploding, is untrue. It is by design. It is propaganda. People want to target the LACC and to disable it. But if you've watched in the past few days a number of issues that have arrived as a result of anti-corruption efforts, both prosecutorial as well as restitutional, then it tells you that this commission is capacitated and is working. And nothing will change in the coming days as we move forward. That is the first point we hope to make.
Councillor Kanio Gbagbala is the acting chairperson of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. The president of the Young Professional Program, that's the PYPP, it is executive director of the President Young Professional Program, He Zize, has termed as vigorous and impartial recruitment processes to amend fellows into the program. Speaking at the PYPP Class 9 Mentors and Supervisors Orientation Workshop, Mr. Zize said the program is the most sustainable approach in preparing the next generation of leaders.
The reason why, because a strong government and private sector capacity is essential to addressing Liberia's present economic and human development challenges. That's all. In a nutshell, that's all. That's the reason why we want to PYPP, because we need the government to have a strong human capital base, and even private sector should have strong human capital base. And quoting from the current Minister of Finance, the Honorable he said capacity building remains the greatest challenge for Liberia despite the recent gains that have been made so far. So it's undisputed that the President's Young Professionals Program stands today as the most sustainable development approach we can embark upon in Liberia, preparing the next generation. It started up in 2009 as a public service leadership organization that provides a competitive 2-year fellowship to young college graduates who are, and I like to say in this manner, who are high achieving graduates.
That's the executive director of the President's Young Professional Program, that's the PYPP, is H. Zize. Meanwhile, PYPP Board Chairman Nelson Williams is calling for more private sector involvement in the mentoring of young Liberians.
Knowing that we have people in the public and private sector that will continue in leadership, today I can say that my retirement will be great. Yes, it will be great because of what we see and experience. He spoke about his entity and what's happening there, and we are experiencing the same thing at Connex. We have one person now in the technical area that will be working in the refinery and going through an intense 6-month program. And then we have one that's in administration who is working with me and with the head of HR there, Mrs. Brown. So I know he will be in good shape. So tonight I just want to say that we were the first beneficiaries in the private sector, and so we see Cimenco and other groups that are coming, and we want more folks in the private sector. Good things will happen for this country, and in order to have these things happen, we need people in positions that will lead. We're not talking about followers here, we're talking about leaders. They are starting where they are, but what we see is rapid growth. The regular people will have the steady growth.
Nelson Williams is the board chairman of the President Young Professional Program. The West Africa Drug Policy Network wants African governments draw a clear line between people legally possessing drugs for health and personal usage and those trafficking illicit substances. Speaking at a 2-day multi-sectoral stakeholders dialogue on Liberia drug law reform, the network executive director Prince Lucinin called for collective efforts to tackle organized crimes and drug trafficking.
We are almost all in agreement that we should establish treatment and rehabilitation services and facilities. We should also focus on organized crime and drug trafficking. And I'm sure Honorable will be speaking on this probably much later. So we should think about alternative development and livelihood. The lack of effectiveness of crop eradication is also evident in continued availability of drugs along the streets of Liberia. The government of Liberia must consider introducing alternative development and livelihood for illicit crop growers where it's possible. The government should also be mindful that alternative development programs have certainly seen some successes, but without the basic infrastructure and market protections needed for the various programs, they will often end up as failed.
At the same time, Grand Bassa County Representative Thomas Goldschwa stressed the need for collective efforts to tackle illicit drug use in the country.
For us in Liberia, it is now a #1 cause for most of the crimes that we see happening on a daily basis. So the proposal that we are making is not to discriminate people, but we must address the increase that the drug users or the impact that it is having on our society that mostly has to do with crime and crime-related events. And we must start to do it now. If we can address that, then maybe the other aspect of it with the rehabilitation and the decriminalization can come in at a later phase or at a later time. But now, all of our social activities are going on at night. If we don't address this thing now, we wouldn't have any night events. I have a property around the Dupo Road area, the Shara community. I'll be very specific. But at 7 o'clock, inhabitants of that community go in low. Because most of the young people in that community.
Meanwhile, a former drug user, Julius Maturi, called for total involvement of drug users in any proposal for drug law reform in Liberia.
We are the victims, we are not the perpetrators. As a matter of fact, if you go into the cemeteries, if you go into dilapidated buildings, if you go to left away buildings, who do you see there? Do you see the traffickers? Do you see the producers? You only see the users, those who have been victims of circumstances. So we are the direct victims. Unfortunately, we have been uninvited guests to this program. Now I told them yesterday, there's nowhere in the world, I don't care, you can have the highest amount of money, you want to build a house, you go and buy the house material in the absence of the engineer. You people are pushing for reforms, for changes in the drug law, so as to protect young people to be able to save our generation. Then those who are victims of the circumstances, you don't bring them on board. So who interests are you seeking? Because they
Julius Maturi is a former drug user who is calling for the involvement of drug users in any proposal for the drug law reform of Liberia. And away from home, Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko had been held in custody following a court appearance as protests against his early arrest raged for a third day. Mr. Sonko, who denies charges of rape, is once again being detained over the matter of disturbing public order. According to his lawyer, his arrest on Wednesday was for the same offense. Cars have been set ablaze on streets in the capital Dakar, where reinforcements have been sent to put the situation under control. A BBC correspondent says one person has died in the demonstrations, and the government says an investigation is underway. From the foreign scene, that's how we end this edition of LNTV News Live here on LNTV. At 10 o'clock on Monday, we'll be back here with another edition of the program. But before we leave, let's recap the major stories we follow on this edition of the program. President George Weah renews government's support to Liberia's Maritime Institute in Masha, Margibi County. Liberia Broadcasting System, that's LBS Director General Estelle Liberty Kemun, says he is impressed by the state broadcaster winning the Press Union of Liberia Radio and Television Station of the Year awards. The Liberian government and partners switched on the first public lights in the Peace Island community in Congo Town and elsewhere in Africa. A local court in Senegal holds the country's opposition leader Ousmane Sonko in custody following early court appearance on Wednesday. That's all we have time for. Like I said, join us on Monday morning at 10 when we'll be back here with another edition of the program. On behalf of the entire production team here at the Liberia National Television, my name is Chap Davis, anchoring tonight and saying blessed weekend and bye-bye for now.